So Project B is coming out with a new report. I was reading frontofficesports.com and they are saying they are not backed by Saudi Arabia money. I don't believe them. And, you know, I think what happened here was so much had been made of this story with the initial claims, like there would be a men's league and a women's league. Like Maverick Carter was involved. There was like, LeBron James tied into this thing. And since, the men's side has kind of gone quiet, the women have really taken stage. Of course, we got the news of Nneka Ogwumike, the president of the Players Association being the first name revealed for this. And there's a lot that goes with the idea of what we think to be a Saudi Arabian, funded league. That's an entire morality thing. It's the activist league branding that is in jeopardy. It's the obvious, if they're going to be paying that kind of money, they're obviously going to be directly taking it to the WNBA in a way that unrivaled. It isn't even close when you compare it, and the potential scale it has, the potential to go up to more than just these kind of barnstorming, traveling, every couple of weeks tournaments. That all sounds temporary to me. I'm gonna pull this column over and we're gonna read it together. And I'm gonna tell you the part to me that stood out after the initial denials and everything like that. So here we go. So they say they have no Saudi funding, but they're working with a company called Selah. I believe it's pronounced. So they said, hey, this was backed in part by Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. They are doing a lot of sports washing. I've mentioned it on my channel before, but people know about Live Golf. WWE has been involved in this even longer. WWE, not really a company that is really afraid of what you think of them morale wise or morality wise. Got down with Saudi Arabia a long time ago. They've made this a normal part of their thing. WrestleMania is going to be over there in, I want to say, like a year and a half. And that's the biggest show that they do. And it started in ways kind of like, this stuff has started when that first got rolled out. It was like, oh, it's these house shows, basically these, arena shows that don't really matter, non-canon, non-essential shows. But what they do is basically just lay the foundation to make it big. And in a month and a half, the Royal Rumble's going to be there. So this thing has grown over the course of almost 9 years with that. And because it's pro wrestling, nobody talks about it in the mainstream media much. But me being a pro wrestling fan, I can actually shed more light on how all that stuff works. Um, this part, they said, this came as a surprise to many in around in the WNBA, raised questions about the league Saudi backing. They're talking, we're building a global pro basketball league. We want a global diversified cap around us that doesn't include any dollars from Saudi Arabia. So they said the connection that they pay to is Selah. It's a subsidiary of the PIF, which stands for the Saudi Public Investment Fund, and they're an event partner of the league. So they said, we have partnerships with a lot of companies around the world. Selah is one event partner that we pay money to. We do not have any dollars coming from them. It's a wholly owned subsidiary based in London that has done a ton of events globally, including the most recent big boxing events, the America's Cup, and a bunch of other global sporting events. They're a global partner of many people around the world. When I think of boxing, I think of Turkey al Sheikh. So obviously, Selah did not return a request for comment because why would they? What got to me though is later down in the column is they sought to initially raise $5 billion. Now, who on earth has $5 billion as their goal to start a league just for the funsies out of nowhere? $5 billion just hanging around. That's what they're trying to raise. Who would be, you know, who would have the motivation to do such a thing? Maybe if you wanted to engage in a little sports washing, I would think that $5 billion might come in handy. I would think that $5 billion might emerge from Saudi Arabia. Now, they're going to deny, deny, deny. This is the playbook. And for me, looking at it, we're hearing about the absurd money that's going to be thrown out at whoever signs up with the league. We've seen Nneka Ogwumike. There are rumors of like $2 million salaries and stuff like that. She's an older player. She's probably cashing out, not really thinking of the morality stuff anymore as much as people try to probably pin her down on it at this point. The $1 million man used to have a phrase, everyone's got a price for the $1 million man. So, if that's the case for her, so be it. But they are going to deny this. But that $5 billion for me is a flashing light that, you know, this is where potentially this money is coming from. This $5 billion, that's not laying around with people that just want to get into a women's basketball league. Like where are they going to be making this stuff back from? $5 billion is so much. It's almost, for someone that has no intention of making it back. It's almost like they are trying to change perception, normalize things. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. They're talking about these global tournaments, Asia, Europe, Latin America. They're going to have a men's tournament. They've got the names linked out there, like, people in like Candace Parker, people we know, Novak Djokovic, Steve Young, Maverick Carter was initially involved, but I don't know, man. Something does not pass the smell test for me. And once this thing gets up and going, it's not going to be 3-on-3. It's going to be 5-on-5. And, the whole thing is like, oh, it's going to be an off season. Once there's that much money involved, they're not going to care about the seasons and, what date is happening where. There's going to be a lot to figure out with the new collective bargaining agreement. And now we see Nneka Ogwumike has a piece of ownership in this other league. This is the actual conflict of interest with Project B, which is so much more powerful than Unrivaled. Project B is like an entirely different animal. That is what would have me questioning Nneka Ogwumike right now. And, the whole thing with Unrivaled, I didn't really consider that to be a rival league because they play in a different time of year. All they're really doing is paying the players more money. They're not gonna go to 5-on-5. Unrivaled is like a TV show. This is like a barnstorming, world traveling league. Like there's something a little bit different with Project B, and Project B actually has the money to really do damage. And with Nneka Ogwumike there, I don't know how she's going to avoid media. If somebody will eventually get a microphone in front of her, and I don't know how smooth she will be evading these questions. But the person that issued the statement here is a co-founder of the Project B project, I believe. Project B co-founder Grady Burnett. They say that Saudi Arabia is not a financial backer. I just don't know if everybody will be reading off the same script, and that's for Candace Parker, Elena Beard, Novak Djokovic, Steve Young. All these people got to get their ducks in a row because I think a lot of people are going to have questions and good ones, and I don't know if they're going to have great answers that necessarily feel like they make sense. Um, I think that the entire thing, just like Live Golf, is going to turn a lot of fans off. And then there will be people that be like, oh, I'll watch it or whatever. I don't think anyone's going to feel passionate about these things. This thing isn't going to feel good to anybody. The WNBA should probably start getting in front of this. I think this is nothing but a actual threat to your league. This is not, a 3-on-3 league that's essentially a TV show. This is not the same thing at all. This is a existential threat to your league, and they will compete with you for coaches. They will compete for players, and then ultimately they will compete for the calendar. That's just how this stuff goes. It starts small, especially when it comes to the Saudi Arabian stuff. Just take my example from pro wrestling. Start small, and then there's so much money tied up. Why would they respect the WNBA's schedule? It wouldn't make sense to me. But what do you guys think about this Project B stuff, the Nneka Ogwumike involvement, and should the WNBA really be taking this a lot more seriously than it feels like they have? There's just been a wave of silence as the CBA continues to get negotiated. But anyway, let me know what you think. Hope you guys enjoying all the videos we're putting on the channel. Got some music stuff on there. Check it out, and I'll let you guys next time. Peace. One lifetime.